I'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are a Treaty 1 territory and traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. I'll introduce the panel members. I'm Marcel Laurent, who I'll be chairing. Lori Davidson to the far left and Stella Rempel to my left. The assessor, Candace Wright is our assessor, and today our secretary is Carmel, right?
Yes.
We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application. We will limit the discussions to those matters. The statements that the applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony. Anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessment of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions based on the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decision with respect to the application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to an application of exemption from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today, and the session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. If I could ask everybody to put their phones on silent for the short meeting. And we're gonna get everybody, we'll start 418 Alexander will be the first one up. Boris. I'll get you all sworn in.
If you could please state your name. Candace Wright. And would you like to be sworn in on the Bible, or if you'd like to affirm the facts? Okay. And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, I do. Okay. Good morning. And if you could please state your full name.
Boris Medikov.
And would you like to swear in on the Bible or affirm with that?
Affirm.
Okay. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And do you have anything to distribute to the panel today?
Just I have some comparables here, yes.
Okay.
It's not confirmed. Yeah, do I have to do more than one?
Okay, I'll just have
It's just one call, it's like three
All
separate
together?
pages.
3 separate pages?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll start with,
Okay.
she can pass it down to us after. She can, there's only one copy. Candace, when you're ready, and read the roll number, please.
Okay. The subject property is roll number 13096184300. Street address is 418 Alexander Avenue. This is a one-story house located in the Centennial neighborhood. The year built is 1887. The effective year built is 1920. The living area is 492 square feet. There's a part basement with no basement finish. There's one full bathroom. There is no central air conditioning, no fireplace, and no garage. The lot size is 3,889 square feet, and the 2020 assessment is $74,000, which is $150.41 per square foot. I have 4 comparable properties, all are 1 stories. Comparable number 1 is located in the Centennial neighborhood. Comparables 2, 3, and 4 are located in West Alexander. The year built ranges from 1893 to 1910. The effective year built ranges from 1907 to 1925. The living area ranges from 610 square feet to 828 square feet. Comparables 1, 2, and 3 have part basements, and comparable number 4 has a full basement. None of the comparable properties have basement finish. The bathroom count ranges from 1 to 1.5. None of the comparable properties have central air conditioning or fireplaces. Comparable number 4 has a detached single-car garage, and the other 3 comparables have no garage. The lot size ranges from 2,642 square feet to 3,299 square feet. Comparables 1 and 2 have a school influence. Comparable number 3 is on a bus route, has a commercial adjacent influence, and has medium traffic. And comparable number 4 has a commercial adjacent influence. The sale price ranges from $80,000 to $105,000. The time adjusted sale price ranges from $80,500 to $109,300. And the time adjusted sale price per square foot ranges from $116.67 to $140.49. I spoke to Boris on August 9th. He'd indicated that interior inspection of the property may not be possible due to tenants that were living there. I did drive by the property on August 13th, and I've included a photo of the exterior. And that concludes my evidence.
Morris, any questions of the assessor before you make your presentation?
Not a question, I think, just a presentation.
Okay. Questions?
I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
I'm looking at your subject property and your comparables, and thank you for taking us through that. I note that the comparables are sort of spread out, so they're not really quite clustered around his address. And I know the challenges of getting comps, but, you know, the square footages range quite a bit, and he's got the lower square footage, yet I'm looking at the assessment per square foot is $150, and then the sale price adjusted is, and the others are all lower. Like, is there a particular comparable here, and they're in different neighborhoods, that you would say best fits 418 Alexander?
I would say comparable number 1 would be the most similar. It's located in the same neighborhood as the subject. It's on the same street. It's the closest in size. It still is a bit larger, but I would say out of the 4, that one would be the most similar.
Okay, so it's just a challenge of finding where it's in this neighborhood.
Finding
that's
some
lined up.
properties, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You know, I have a question, if I can ask.
1 second. Suzella?
I have no questions, thank you.
And now you have a
Yeah,
question.
okay. I have the comparable list here that I received while I went to the meeting, the public meeting, and I was expecting to see the same comparables, but no, some of the comparables changed. And we actually have in the previous list of comparables, some comparables that are closer to the property, but for some reason, this list I see first time, 2 comparables are the same, but 2 are different. So, I don't know why, but. the
Well,
question
when
I
I
have-
reviewed the property, you had met with someone else at the open house. I did my own research when I was preparing for the hearing.
'cause there's
But you
one-
you can present that during your presentation, okay? And I've got no questions, so we'll go on to your presentation
Okay,
and
so-
fill us in.
All right, so I see those comparables, like I say, I have the previous list of comparables and I gave a few other comparables there is in the area. My property is, like those comparables are way more superior, it's not even close to mine. I gave you, one of the properties, actually one neighboring property, and it was in a similar condition. The house literally falling apart. I talked to Candice and I said there is no, I have the same tenants for about 10 years. They completely trashed the place, but as long as they're paying, they're there. And I got few pictures from inside. I asked them for more, but they sent me a few pictures. The flooring, I can show it on my phone if it's possible. Just, can I see it?
Sure.
So this is just some pictures. of
We'll
flooring.
start with Candace there and bring it back our way.
This picture of the flooring they sent me, because after we talked, I asked for pictures, bring me some roof picture, now this is what they sent me.
Okay.
Flooring, she sent the door, it's all around, it's all terrible, not red cat, stuff like that. But she hasn't sent any more, and like I told you, it's not easy to get in there. Okay, so she sent me some pictures of the flooring, that, you know, all the flooring coverage is falling apart, and the vinyl, and she sent me a picture here, again, of the flooring, but it's not so clear. She sent me a picture of the door, that, you know, all the air gaps around,
Mhm.
and the flooring here that she sent me. But again, it's very hard to communicate with those guys. I asked for send me some room pictures because I know how it looks like. I've been there. It's like holes in the drywall. She haven't sent. Probably she was feeling responsible for that, so she didn't send that. I don't know. But anyhow, so I gave you the comparables, and there is two very interesting comparables in those. One is a house, my neighboring house. It's larger, but the price per square foot was about. I gave you the paper, and it's on there. It's all for $40,000, and it was about 1,000 square feet in size. The condition of those houses is pretty similar. It's right the neighboring house. The other house I gave you is a comparable. It's a very interesting comparable. It's a newer house. It's built in 2012, and it was sold for $120 with a larger size. The price per square feet is $122 for a house that was built in 2012. This is a super tough area. Like police pretty much on the street every day. Nobody wants to live there. If not those tenants, that probably just knock down the house. That's it. So compare those to some houses. It's just unreasonable. One of the comparables that we had on the previous list was 297 Patrick, and it's actually interesting comparable because the city brought information. I think I don't have that number, but they gave it. They said it was sold for $75,000. I think in 2017, I'm not sure, but in 2015, 2 years earlier, it was sold in a condition close to my house for $55,000. Then it was probably renovated in 1 year and sold $20,000 more. But what I'm kind and to finalize that, all the if you go and look at the price per square foot, even for those superior comparables, we're gonna come to average of $128 per square foot. It's still high for my house. I don't think it's cost any more than $80 per square foot. But the average from the city comparables is $128 per square foot. It's changed a bit because from the previous comparables it was $126. So it shows you that even the previous assessment is too high. And I didn't have a chance back then, but it's just ridiculous. Like nobody gonna pay me $74,000 for this piece of property ever. And this one here.
Candace, do you have any questions?
You said the property is currently rented out.
Yeah.
How much is
$625. I haven't raised the rent for 10 years, and this is basically the only reason they live there because it's very cheap. Like you can't get anything under $1,000 now.
That's it?
Yeah.
Zella, any questions?
I'm just wondering when those pictures were taken.
A few days ago, it's with a date on the phone. After we talked to Candace, she said, "Where will I be able to get it?" And I said, "No, I'll ask, but I know it's really tough." And they never replied to the phone. And then I texted them, and they sent me those pictures, and you can see the date on this message. It's just a few days after. I'll open it once again. It's August 18th.
18th.
Yeah, there's pictures, and then I asked, can you send me some photos of the rooms as well?
No.
reply. No reply.
Okay.
This is the situation. So yeah, a few days ago after the conversation, because I tried to maybe let you. So
And how long have you owned the home?
I owned it for about 10 or 11 years.
10 or 11 years?
Mhm.
And do you recall how much you paid for the home when you purchased
Oh,
it?
when I purchased it was just it's like a skeleton. It was ripped down completely. I paid about 20,000 back then. Put maybe about 30 or so in rentals. Brought it kind of into a livable shape. And since then it's been rented.
And did you ever live in the home?
No.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions.
Marie?
I have no questions, thank you.
Yeah, I've got no questions. Thank you very much for your presentation. We'll let you know in a letter.
All right.
Thank you.
How long usually it takes to receive those letters? How long does it usually take for the letter?
Couple of weeks, I think, right?
We'll probably send them out today.
Oh, probably send them out today.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Usually a couple of weeks, we get it. Quick. 447 Elgin. 447 Elgin.
wish to swear on the Bible or affirm without? Okay. And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Okay.
Candace, when you are prepared.
The subject property is roll number 1307 1927 447 Elgin Avenue. This is a two-story house located in the Centennial neighborhood. The year built and effective year built are 2014. The living area is 1,993 square feet. There is a full basement with basement finish. There are 2 full bathrooms and 1 half bathroom. There is central air conditioning, no fireplace, and a detached multiple car garage. The lot size is 5,624 square feet, and there is a commercial influence on the property. The 2020 assessment is $337,000, which is $169.09 per square foot. I have 3 comparables. These are all 2 stories. Comparable number 1 and 3 are located in Centennial, and comparable number 2 is in the West Alexandria neighborhood. Comparable number 1, the year built and effective year built are 2015. For the other 2 comparables, the year built was 1913 and 1882, and the effective year built are 1958 and 1952. The living area ranges from 1,520 square feet to 1,726 square feet. All properties have full basements. Comparable number 2 has basement finish. Comparables number 1 and 3 do not. The bathroom count ranges from 1.5 to 3. Comparables 2 and 3 have central air conditioning, and comparable number 1 does not. Comparable number 1 has a fireplace. Comparable number 1 has an attached multi-car garage. Comparable number 2 has a detached single-car garage, and comparable number 3 has no garage. The lot size ranges from 2,889 square feet to 4,150 square feet. Comparables number 1 and 3 have commercial adjacent influences. The sale prices range from $200,000 to $260,000. The time-adjusted sale prices range from $209,400 to $283,200. And the time-adjusted sale price per square foot ranges from $121.32 to $186.07. The homeowners did attend the preview program, and at that point, our staff reviewed the assessment, and it was reduced from $374,000 down to $337,000.
Thank you. Any questions of the assessor before we move on? No? Questions? Gisela?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Lori?
No, I have no questions, thank you.
On with your presentation.
Well, we're here today because we feel that the assessment of our property is not a fair estimate of the price the property probably would sell for, considering the area. Although that it was reduced to $337 from $374, there was a couple previous years that my father missed the appeal dates. But we're talking about the 2020 appeal. So based on the area, we have looked at a couple houses in the area, not the comparables that the assessors provided, but a few other ones that are close by, like William Avenue. So we do have a couple here houses that are currently on the market that are selling for under $300,000, that are bigger square footage than my parents' house. So one is going for 463 William Avenue is going for $364. It's been on the market for quite some time now. There's one on 88 Bannerman Avenue for $299,000. That one's over 200,000 square feet. There's one on 120 Juno Street, which is $279,000. So there are a few houses that are in the area that are having difficulty selling. And although our house is more newer, you can't take away the area that it's situated in. We have pictures also in our area where we have garbage in the back lane, which is going to be very, very challenging to sell someone to live when this is the atmosphere that we live in. If you take a look at also history in the last 5 years, there's been a lot of shootings, there's been a lot of arsons. So to try and sell a house that's 337 in this market, in this area, is gonna be very challenging. And my parents are, they're seniors, and so they can't afford to sell their house very low and to pay the amount of property taxes that we're being asked to pay, which is why I'm here to, on behalf of them. So we're just asking that you consider us lowering it a little more so that we can get something comparable and that they can, afford it. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Question?
The properties that you have, are they currently listed or?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, we don't look at currently listed properties. We look at sold properties that were sold prior to April 1st, 2018.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
gives us our numbers. That's why she's chosen homes that were sold prior to those dates.
So, but what we're saying is that if we were to sell it now because they can't afford their property tax, and I know that's not based on the property taxes, but if they were to sell it right now, they won't even get the amount that we're being asked to pay for 2020. Does that make sense? Because if you look at our area right now, it's not in a good area. And they had a house fire, so they didn't get to choose where they live. Like if they were to be able to sell it before their house was before they had that house fire, they would be able to sell it in the same prices that the houses are being sold right now. So the square footage, even in 2014, when the house was 1,900 square foot and they had a big house, they would have been able, maybe been able to sell it for what the comparables are, under like 200,000, 260 maybe. But now you have a brand new house there, and in the area, it doesn't change how you sell a house, because it still matters where the house is located. I've also printed houses right now, like in better areas, that you're asking us to pay on a market value of 337, where if someone was gonna pay that amount, they could go into River Heights, they could go into even the nicer West End and pay 337 for a bigger square footage. So just to compare square footage and where you're living, it makes a difference of the area. So that's why we're saying we feel that the assessment is not assessed at a fair price.
Any other questions?
No.
Gisela?
When did you have your house fire?
In 2013.
2013. And how long had you owned the home prior to the fire?
How long did you own the home before the house fire?
You moved there in 1998.
So 1998, so probably about 15 years.
Okay. And do you recall how much it cost to build the new house on the property?
It was 330.
330.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions.
And I've got no questions. Leave it with us and you'll be hearing from us.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're just moving along here. The next one is 725 Maryland. We're gonna skip a couple of sheets, guys.
Please state your full name.
My name is Dewey Huey.
And would you like to swear in on the Bible or affirm the account?
Swear the Bible.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And do you have anything to distribute?
Sure. One copy, this is for everyone else. And I have photos because I photocopied them in China, so I'm not passing them around and show.
Yep.
I'll give the photos
Yep.
to the assessor
And
first.
she'll be passing down after she's done.
Oh, I actually have the video to show before.
Candace, whenever you're ready. Lori, pictures in there.
Pardon?
The pictures.
Oh, sorry, I got it in mine, sorry. Oh,
No, the pictures in front of you.
Oh, sorry. You matched the table, look like that table finish.
Okay, the subject property is roll number 130502-38100. Street address is 725 Maryland. This is a 1 3/4 story house in the Daniel McIntyre neighborhood. The year built and effective year built are 1907. The living area is 1,332 square feet. There is a full basement with no basement finish. There are 2 full bathrooms. There is no central air conditioning, no fireplace, and a detached single-car garage. The lot size is 2,943 square feet, and the influences on this property are it's on a bus route, commercial adjacent, and heavy traffic. The 2020 assessment is $119,000, which is $89.34 per square foot. I have 4 comparable properties that are all 2 stories in Daniel McIntyre. The year built ranges from 1905 to 1910. The effective year built ranges from 1908 to 1939. The living area ranges from 1,176 square feet to 1,250 square feet. All properties have full basements. Comparable number 3 has basement finish, and the other 3 comparables do not. The bathroom count ranges from 1 to 2. None of the comparable properties have central air conditioning or fireplaces. Comparables 1 and 4 have detached single-car garages. Comparables 2 and 3 have no garage. The lot size ranges from 2,493 square feet to 3,741 square feet. Comparable number 1 has the same influences as the subject property. The sale price for these properties range from $115,000 to $135,000. The time adjusted sale prices ranged from $117,800 to $139,100, and the time adjusted sale price per square foot ranges from $100.17 to $114.20. And I did an exterior inspection of the property on August 13th. I've included a photo. The evidence.
Do you have any questions of the assessor?
Yes, you said number 1 has a similar influence with my neighborhood. I have to disagree with that because that's actually down the street closer to where Safeway is down there. And actually, I believe it's a better area than mine. If you look in the photos, where I live is...
Are you gonna ask her a question, or are you giving us
No,
some
I'm
more
just
information?
saying, where I live, it's like across from a beer store and a bar and a hotel, so those are not there when you're compared to the 485 Maryland Street. So it's just, yeah.
Okay, we'll see if Laura, do you have any questions?
I do have a quick question. In looking at your map, I see where the subject property is, and then I see where the comparables are, and they're a little bit spread out, and, you know, I know that, you know, values can change just almost block by block or in squares, so you've picked these ones, like, would you say like between McGee and Furby, like this is north of Wellington, it's south of Notre Dame, it's not south of Portage, like, say when you go over to Comp 3 on Home Street, which is moving obviously west, have these, how do you think that affects, like there's no comparables? The one is the one on Maryland, but it's south of Sargent.
Yeah,
Maybe
and-
you can, respond, like just a little bit of information on that.
Yeah, there would be differences in value within the Daniel McIntyre neighborhood. That being said, the assessment for the subject property is actually lower than all 4 comparables, and I believe that reflects that it might be a slightly less desirable part of the Daniel McIntyre neighborhood.
So in terms of your modeling, it drills down into the neighborhood level, not just, say, the larger neighborhood of Daniel Mac, but it
I'm not 100% sure how specific it gets.
Okay.
As far as.
All right, thank you. Thanks very
Gisela,
much. I have no questions, thank you.
on with your presentation.
No.
I might have some questions of you after.
Sure, I guess. I think my property tax should remain the same as last year. I did agree to an increase last time. Thinking with an increase, my back lane, sorry about this whole mistake, would get redone and improvements would happen with more money, but since then the area has gotten worse. If we can't come to agreement, I'll be appealing for a reduction next time. Ever since then, there have been more incidents in the area since then. In front of my house is a beer store, bar, hotel. Inside is a health science center, and now with the Manitoba event fully open, there's more traffic. Right behind my house is KFC. The difference in my area is that it's intersected by three main streets, so it gets really busy and noisy. It's worse now with the Manitoba Clinic. That's Maryland, Notre Dame, and Sherbrooke. About a block away, there was a teenager. I don't know if you guys watch local news, but he was killed. That's just a block away from my house. So it could have been me, so that's one thing I like to mention. In the photos there was also a major police raid. That was like 2 houses down. That's a rental property. What else? I think that the rental properties and business around there, especially the beer store, should be paying more in taxes rather than myself. It's because they're the ones that are bringing the influences there. Attached to this, besides photos, is also there is articles as well as an incident report where it was like last month where my brother got his vehicle busted into. So yeah, they just basically sell shoes. And yeah, I wrote about a bunch of stuff here, so you guys can read it. And then I just have a video that I actually filmed last night, so I can play that.
Do you have any questions? Oh, you had something else you want to show us?
Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
the
I got a
pictures,
video.
sure. Let's have a look at them. Start with Candace, if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
sure. So this is actually midday, so around 5 o'clock. So that's going on. Sorry for the local audience. There's police there. Alright, so that's midday. And then this is actually I got back from the gym with my friends. This is yesterday. So this is what I do with my daily face. Alright.
Thank you.
So I'm just gonna play right here. This is what, this is a good day yesterday, so around like 5 p.m. So it was like, in West. Some of the, and, this was actually, last night, around 11 o'clock. So it's a beer store and then, yeah. I see this almost like every day.
Thank you.
Questions, Candace?
Do you have any sales that would show market evidence for how this affects the property value?
Not really. I think maybe next year because there's a new neighbor next door, but that's, yeah. I don't plan on selling the place for a while, so.
And just
Laura, you got any questions?
Just a quick one, where you're located on, say, your immediate sort of block, how many of those are, not the actual count, but are they mostly rental properties, or are they mostly
Yeah, there's
owner
like,
occupied?
apartment. I'm guessing there's like 20 units or something there.
Uh-huh.
Across the street, there's another 2, and on my street alone, there's like, I believe 3 properties.
So it's mostly
Yeah.
rentals.
Yeah.
Gisela?
Yes, I wonder how long you have owned the property?
Since around 2001
2001?
or 2000. My dad originally owned it, and then later on I had to buy it. So that's a self-long, complicated story.
Okay. Can you maybe put into context for me some of these pictures that you've submitted?
Oh, those are those photos right there. They just
That's these.
didn't see
Yeah, I know, but where are
Okay.
these taken? Across the street, across the back lane?
They're taking me around my area. So the photos were the streets. The reason why the actual street is that I've been dealing with during the summer with an issue where people like just throw broken beer bottles. And so what happened is that say some people drive by and have a flat tire.
Right.
And I had some people complain about my neighbors, but it's, what can I do about it? All I can do is just clean it and sweep it away. That's it.
So this is where? There's a, sorry, you probably can't see it. I know the pictures weren't clear.
Yeah, that's just 2 houses away.
2 houses away.
That was
Yeah.
a big thing.
Okay,
I had to take that photo at the KFC because they blocked off the entire street.
okay.
So we went lots of vehicles.
I was just wondering about the context of those pictures.
That was a photo of the raid.
I notice you've attached several newspaper or online reports here. One is about the teen who
Yeah.
died a couple of blocks away, you said. And the other one is about city investigating allegations, workers conducting personal business during work hours. Is that there
Oh,
for
I
any
just put it-
particular reason?
I just put it there because, you know, on the news, they're talking about people in the planning, how they were abusing their time, and it's
That
basically
wouldn't be
showing
relevant
that-
here anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
but basically it's saying, showing that, you know, you can't trust your officials to do their jobs, it's not fair, I can't trust that this
Well,
is a problem.
we'll take it easy on this
Yeah.
department. And what are these garbage bins? Are they right next to your house, or where are they?
They're just the house, they're the second house, so they're.
That's the
right
second
next to
block
it.
off, it's a block, well,
So.
house off.
That's the rental property, we gotta deal with it, so.
And the other one was across the street, that's there. That's in front, that's your neighbor. I'm good with this.
Yeah, you guys can keep the photos.
What was your previous assessment that, for 2018? Do you have that? Because you said you wanted your tax to stay the same.
Yeah, we
You never
agreed.
said what the assessment was.
It was 100,000,
It was 100,000.
yeah.
Okay, leave it with us, and you'll be hearing from us.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. And now, we will move to the last one, 966 Palmerston Avenue. Are you coming up there?
No, I don't think Aaron's
No?
going
Gonna let you do all the talking?
He's a big boy.
to. That's a change. Hi,
Could you please state your full name?
George Dixon.
Okay, and would you like to swear in the Bible or affirm with
Affirm.
that? Okay. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything to distribute?
Yes, I do. Okay. I believe I keep one of the 6 and the other 5 go to the board.
Correct.
Candace?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Candace, when you're ready, please.
The subject property is roll number 1208-177-0000. Street address is 966 Palmerston Avenue. This is a 1 3/4 story house located in the Wolseley neighborhood. The year built is 1933 and the effective year built is 1943. The living area is 2,397 square feet. It has a full part area basement with no basement finish. There is 1 full bathroom, 2 half bathrooms, and 1 shower. There is central air conditioning, there is no fireplace, and there is a detached single-car garage. The lot size is 9,386 square feet, and this property has an Assiniboine adjacent influence, a community club, and a school influence. The 2020 assessment is $543,000, which is $226.53 per square foot. I have 4 comparable properties that are located in the Wolseley neighborhood. Comparables 1 and 2 are 1.5 story houses, and comparables 3 and 4 are 2-story houses. The year built ranges from 1922 to 1949. The effective year built ranges from 1935 to 1959. The living area ranges from 1,338 square feet to 2,276 square feet. All properties have full basements. Comparables 1, 2, and 3 have basement finish, and comparable number 4 does not. The bathroom count ranges from 1 to 2.5. Comparable 1 has central air conditioning, comparables 2, 3, and 4 do not. Comparables 1, 3, and 4 have 1 fireplace, and comparable number 2 has 2 fireplaces. Comparable number 1 has no garage. Comparable number 2 has an attached single-car garage. Comparable number 3 is an attached multiple-car garage. And comparable number 4 has a detached single-car garage. The lot size ranges from 5,670 square feet to 9,287 square feet. All properties are Assiniboine adjacent, and comparable number 2 has a school influence as well. The sale price for these properties range from $435,000 to $707,000. The time-adjusted sale price ranges from $455,900 to $714,800, and the time-adjusted price per square foot ranges from $233.75 to $340.73. I inspected the property with the homeowners on August 15th, and we went over that the concerns with the property are related to the community club next door, parking issues on the front street, and snow removal issues are some of the main points.
Any questions of Candace before you make your presentation, sir?
On fireplaces, does it matter if it's wood or electric? Because it's not indicated here, so if it was wood, it might fire, your insurance may be more or whatever, or age.
Yeah, at this point, we don't distinguish between the two.
Oh, okay. And on the living area of 2,397 square feet, the original house is 1,400. There's no differentiation, and the addition that which was put on in 1990 was about 1,400. Sorry, 1,000. I mean, so in total it's around that 2,397. So you don't differentiate on here.
We do break it into the main original area and the additional area on our records. For this sheet, we just go by total living area.
Okay.
That's it for your questions. Gisela?
I have no questions.
Lori?
I have no questions either, thank you.
So the effective age would have been affected by the 1990 construction, would it not?
Yes.
Is that what brought the, from 1933 to 1943?
I believe that's the one that would have changed.
How do you calculate that value?
We have a calculator that we use. It's based
The
on
formula?
the type, the type
Yeah.
of renovations that are done.
The size, the type of foundation,
Yeah.
everything about
Crawl space or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So part area means crawl space, right?
Yes.
yeah. The full under one section and part under another, crawl space. And we'll go on to your presentation.
dealing with the exterior of the property and surrounding issues, part A of my sheet there, I think you've all got a copy. The street, you kind of saw the conditions, so the street was scheduled for new surfacing in 1990 because the church next door, the community club next door used to be a church. And when we moved in 1986, it was a church. Then in 1990, it was converted to changed to a Robert A. Steen Community Club. So the street to the west of the community club was totally dug out and resurfaced in 1990. Whereas our side was never touched. Like it's still, every time the street sweeper goes down the street in the spring or fall to get leaves, there's more asphalt brought up than there is leaves or whatever. So we actually have to go out and clean up the street after the street has been through, but anyway. So you saw the condition of the street, Candace, correct?
Yes.
Not too good. Although you don't need speed bumps. There's a turnaround that's called a hammerhead. It was put in by when the street was closed off in front of the community club, so that we could back out of our driveway, back into the hammerhead, as it's called. The hammerhead is about a single lane in width. So you back in there and go forward with it. Our contention here is that we've had, over the years, to hire somebody else to clean it out, like especially if there's a big snowfall, I'll hire somebody with a snow blower to do it, because the snow clearing machines aren't getting in there. And you won't get you maybe get a front end loader in there, but you wouldn't get a blade with a tractor with a blade on it. So this past winter again, we had to, the first big snowfall, we had to clean out two tread widths for the car to get out of our area, our location, to Lenore Street, which was plowed out. So we're kind of like up anywhere from 5 to 7 days. We're waiting for our street to get snow blown out or cleared in the winter. Obviously in the winter, not the summer. But so that's been a contention. And I have phoned 311 like 4 or 5 times this past winter to get that done, and I've had no response from the clearing machines at all. So with myself, I just had spinal surgery in December, so I cannot help my wife clear a lot of snow. I have to hire somebody else to help her. So, and I'm probably going to be this way for another few months yet, but anyway. So that's one of our major contentions, because when you're paying property taxes, what are you paying for? Sewer, water, garbage removal, snow clearing, those kind of things. The snow clearing is not getting done. And I'm hoping that with Candace here, with this observation, we'll eventually talk to somebody at Public Works or whatever, so that we don't have to go through another winter of us trying to clear snow out, because phoning 311 is not doing the job, period. We border the community club, and there are 4 trees on club property. There's like a 3-foot chain link fence, the original from when all that property used to be tennis courts before the church was built there. And so the chain link fence, which is 3 feet high, is from 1930, like it's old. And I showed Candace that fence, and she can verify that all the posts are broken. They're all steel posts, and the fence is just leaning, like the only thing that's holding up are the vines that are on it. So it should have been replaced when it was converted to a community club, because on the west side they put in a brand new fence. But the parking lot for the community club is on the west side, so they put in a 6-foot-high wood fence for the neighbors bordering the west side of the community club on the parking lot. We should have had at least an 8-foot fence, chain link, replacing that 3-foot. But there are several huge trees. The one adjacent to our house is a cottonwood, and it's, well, you saw it, it's like, the caliper is like 45 inches. Like you can't put it takes 2 people to join hands to put your arm on the bottom of that tree. But that tree is lifting, it's lifting our driveway comes to the garage, it's up about that high, with the roots pushing the driveway up over time. And the chain link fence, it's actually grown, or this tree has absorbed the chain link fence. It's right inside the tree at the bottom. It's amazing how powerful a tree can be. But that tree, right now, the upper limbs are touching our roof, and I have sent a letter to the Urban Forestry Department, the Urban Forestry branch, saying that tree, plus there's 2 others further down beside, just behind my garage, that are just huge. Like, and all the limbs, 90% of the limbs on those trees hang over our property. And as at present, the 2 at the back of the garage, the vines that are on the fence that's adjacent to the wading pool, the distance from the 3-foot chain link fence, it's the old one, to the back of the property beside the club, and between there's a wading pool adjacent to our property. There's about a 3-foot separation between the 3-foot fence and the 12-foot fence. And the vines have just taken over both those fences, and they haven't been pruned out. And what it's doing right now is the vines are climbing up the trees. And so there's a lot of shade, because we have a flower, and we plant a garden every year. So we have a vegetable garden and flower gardens. And right now, the vines are so tall that probably 80% of my backyard is shaded from those vines. And especially the big tree, it's like up 20 feet up, 30 feet up. So it shades the garden, it shades our yard. The first 4 properties on Lenore Street are about the same. Actually, they're older. They were built in the 1914 and there in 1913, because the river properties, they used to be considered cottages. So on the north side of Palmerston, they were actually cottages in the beginning, and that's why it took to 1933 to actually have river property available to buy for putting a house on river property. So those ones are aging on Lenore, and they're actually they're rentals, so they're not very well maintained at all. They need a lot of maintenance work to be done. So I think that it might deter a bit from the sale for selling, or the value of the house we're in, or anybody else along Palmerston there. There's a lot of issues with the community club. If you're ever on a board that says we're gonna put a community club on a residential street between housing, don't allow it. And we were figured that, well, the neighbor on the west side opposed it being converted to a community club. We went along with it because we thought it would be a really great idea for kids in the neighborhood, because there wasn't much land available for a community club at that point in time in 1989, 90 in there. So I thought it would be nice to have the property, but there are some issues of having a community club next door. You know, you got people can come off the street to the back of the club, go over the fence to the river or whatever, and so there's a lot of people that you don't want coming into the club because for that very purpose, because they're basically looking to either camp there or whatever, or break into houses. There's been a number of break-ins all along because people do have access to the river. So it's not like the rest of the houses further down Palmerston or Wolseley that don't have a club beside them. I noticed on your comparisons here that there used to be a bowling green beside one of these houses. And when it was closed off as a lawn bowling green, it was never converted or sold. It's still just vacant park space. So, community club next door. Hey, there's some advantages. Some people are very nice. I mean, it's nice to have the waiting pool there for kids. And also the street was closed off so that people from the community club would have access to they put up 2 skating rinks in the summer on the lower Secor property across the street. And so the reason they closed the street off is because it's a lot safer for kids going to the soccer fields, baseball, or especially in winter. So that was one of the reasons for closing the street off. Of course, we never knew all this would be happening when we bought the property in 1986. Excuse me. House and property, part B. You know, I've already talked about the chain link fence. Now, I've got some quotes here, like part 2, residential sewer line must be replaced. Now, right now, I've had 2 sewer backups over the past year and a half. So I finally got around to, for this presentation, to get some quotes for replacement of the sewer line. And if they get in and do the sewer line, the existing water line is lead. So I think in most cases, that would probably be replaced at the same time because it's right beside it. Because they also told me it's a danger if you dig down and put in a new sewer line, you could possibly damage that lead pipe. So, because it's so close to the sewer line. So, the quotes are there, the pricing. Past year, I forgot to show you that beside the garage canvas, but what's happening is that the city raised the grade of the community club, the lawn beside our property, so it slopes down towards the community club, because 2 years ago, when there was a lot of snow, a lot of melt, frozen water lines up top, frozen water, it's when spring came, the water, when it melted, came down to our property and went through the garage. So they raised the grade, but in raising the grade, they forgot about wind-driven snow in winter. So when it snows in winter and blows, there's like a trench, like the garage side comes down to the grade, lower down than that, and the raised grade is 2.5 feet higher than my grade level. So it blows in there, and when the spring it melts, it's gonna run through the garage again. So we have to clean that out, otherwise we're gonna get flooded again. So the city are the people that should be cleaning that out, not us. Point number 4 in part B is existing hot water boiler is original from 1933. It could go anytime. And I got in some shorties. They do boiler replacements. I've had some neighbors that have had their hot water boilers replaced. They've had good work done, so I got them in to give me a quote. There's no telling when that boiler's gonna go, but what happens is the heat exchanger cracks. It was originally coal-fired, then gas got fired at one time. It was on a central steam plant. So who knows when it's gonna go. So I thought I'd better get a price. And then also there's some things that they told me that has to be done to the basement. Like the boiler, the best thing to do is to have the old boiler replaced because it is covered with asbestos. And that rate now is quite expensive. Like I think the quote was around $7,000 or $8,000 to just have the boiler abatement done on the asbestos, because it's gotten so, as we know, that asbestos, that's a big deal right now with air quality and everything. So that's almost as expensive as the boiler, putting in a new boiler itself. So combined, it's about $20,000 to replace that boiler. The front house, the existing the existing house, which is 1,400 square feet, is on hot water, and we have the hot water rats, so. And when I put the addition on, I ducted the whole house for air conditioning. So the AC furnace is powerful enough to, I put a shaft up the side of the house to drop air in from above in the old bedrooms upstairs and feed the rest of the house, so it's inductive to, for that furnace. Soil erosion on the riverbank is quite huge, as I stated here in point number 5. What happened is that the people across the river on Wellington Crescent got a permit to put a lot of limestone rock in, so they were getting erosion too, but they were on the we are on the inside of the curve for the currents. They're on the outside, so they get more erosion over there, so they just decided to put rock in. Well, as soon as they put rock in, it changes the currents. And we've lost about 4 to 5 feet of riverbank over the last few years due to erosion from people putting that rock on the other side. I had an electrical, because we had point number 6, electrical technician come in and give me an estimate. Sorry, I don't have it in writing from them, but he said to get rid of the knob and tube, you're looking at about $350 an outlet or a switch. So if you count all the outlets and switches, because you gotta take the, well, you may know a bit about, but you have to take the wiring out, put new wires in, and also repair any holes they make to do that job, so that was his ballpark assessment. But we're not responsible ourselves right now to replace that. If the house ever sold, the new owner would have to do that. That's the code now. And point number 7, we're both 65 and better. And it takes us, a yard like that is a lot of work. You know, we like it. We bought it because we like the property. But in 1986, we paid $82,000 for the house. And then in 1990, when I put the addition on, it was $82,000. So we would have never known that, well, who would know that property is getting to the way it is today, so. But we don't have a cottage, so that's our cottage, I guess. So we don't have to go travel. The neighbors go away on the weekend and when it's quiet. Other than the pool. But the kids are having a great time. The pool is open from, the waiting pool is open from 10 in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon. So after 5:30, it's quiet. Other than people jumping the fence at 3 in the morning with an air mattress or throw a football around it. But kids have to have fun, right? That's it.
Candace, any questions?
Anything else?
So what do you feel the assessment should be?
510. Because I'm looking at the work I have to do, the money I have to spend coming up. Total's about $45,000. So.
That's it for your questions. Gisela?
Yes, I'm just wondering, you said that you built an addition on the home in 1990. Have you done any other upgrades to the home? Kitchen, bathrooms?
Bathroom, the old bathroom, the original bathroom, had plastic tile in it. I think I pointed that out too. We replaced the tile with ceramic, just halfway up the wall. But there was this old plastic tile with pink and black squares.
My parents had that there.
There you go.
I remember that, yes.
And,
On the ceiling.
it was on the ceiling and the walls, and it was starting to fall off. So. Good. They haven't replaced it though.
It's a collector's item now.
Yeah, it is.
Lori, any questions?
No, thank you very much, this was very clear.
Your property is the last one on the street then, correct, if I'm right? You come down,
On Palmerston.
as you come down Palmerston, and that's where it ends, right at
It
your
dead
house?
ends at our-
It dead ends at your place,
Right.
right?
Palmerston continues on the other
Yeah.
side.
I know it
does.
continues on the other side and the
But
other
we're
side,
the
but you're the last one before the club.
Correct.
Yes, I know where the property is. No sales from the other side, on the east?
Not in the reference period that I can find.
Nothing in the reference period.
You're not, sorry, there is a house for sale on Palmerston between Evanston and Arlington.
Yeah, but it's for sale right now.
Yeah, it's for sale right
Yeah.
now.
So it doesn't fall into the,
No,
Category
but
for
it
that.
is selling, they're trying to get 800,000
Yeah.
for it, and it's been up on the market for 4 months already, so.
oh, it's a nice area.
But it's been totally redone, and a new garage.
Yours needs a water line. How's the roof on the house?
It's actually pretty good, I think within, let's say, 4 or 5 years, there's the northwest roof on the valley side should probably
Windows?
be replaced. All the windows. Well,
On the old,
I put them in 1933 when they were brand new. No, I'm just kidding.
they were brand new in 1933.
1933 original windows on the old part of the house.
On the
It's
old
all
part?
original windows.
So they're all the original, so you just have to put the outside windows on it every,
I don't bother, I just caulk them all.
it's a little chilly.
Well, yeah, you take the storms, you take the outside storm off and put a screen on, right, wood screen.
Mhm.
It's very time consuming, plus they leak. So I just.
They leak, so just
I just caulk them all.
caulk them closed.
I've got AC, so our house cools off pretty good, except for that 1 week where we had 35-degree weather, but cools off pretty good at night.
So the old section of the house is the section that needs the electrical, so the boiler heats the whole house, or you've got a different
No,
furnace?
the boiler heats just the old part of the house.
And the new part is done by electric heat then?
No, forced air furnace.
Forced air furnace on that side?
Yeah, I put in a forced air furnace with AC when I put the addition in 1990.
But the air conditioning doesn't come into the old part?
Yes, it does. I had it all ducted.
Well, you had it all ducted?
Yeah, from below and above. I put a duct up the side of the house to come into the old part of the house to feed the 3 bedrooms and the bathroom from above. That's the best way for AC anyways, is
Yep.
to drop. So,
Was any, can I ask you a question? Hence, when you visited, did you take the cost of doing the boiler and the other things into account when you were there?
I actually wasn't aware of those
She
issues.
wouldn't
when I
know.
was there.
I thought she did a visit though when you
and I didn't
discussed-
have them yet.
Oh, you hadn't discussed
No.
those issues yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you weren't aware of the knob and tube at that
No,
time?
I wasn't aware of one and two or the
Because does it affect the sale when they're got knob and tube in the house?
board. It would likely affect the sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it costs that amount of money.
What was the previous assessment, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm not sure if I have it here. Do you know the previous assessment?
Was it 520 in 2017?
2018.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I do have it. It was 520,000. That's right.
Yeah. For 18 or 17?
That was for 2018 and 19.
18, yeah. Okay. I don't think it changed from 17 to 18 even, so,
No, it changed 16.
yeah.
16, 18,
right,
it's every 2 years.
Yeah.
So 16, 18, 20. 22 is the next one. No further questions, anyone?
I just have one really quick one.
Sure, go.
On the comps, I guess it could be either, do you know if the comps that the assessor used have the old boilers and,
No, I don't know anything
No,
about,
they
this is the
do.
first I've seen it, I didn't know these comparisons.
okay.
I do have a couple listings here. 1286 Wolseley, I know has a forced air furnace. And the knob, or, yeah, sorry, the knob and tube was removed. 1244 Wolseley. still has boiler heat.
What boiler heat, old boiler or new boiler?
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
they don't. I'm not sure. what
Yeah.
they
If
do.
it probably does have the old boiler. Some people did get rid of the old ones, like a way back,
Mhm.
and they converted, because the new boilers are like the size of a radiator, you know, a rat. But, yeah, it's hard to, so we don't know. Correct? We don't know if it's an old boiler in
Yeah,
it or not.
no,
Yeah.
it doesn't say.
You were happy with 520, I guess, previous, because you didn't appeal it that year, did you?
In 2017?
Yeah, 2018, when they put it at 520.
No, I didn't. But I didn't know about these other costs.
Okay, that's fair. Leave it with us,
Sure.
and you'll be hearing.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is your pen.
I don't have anything to pass you this time, do I? No. Okay, we're gonna wrap up the rest of them right away with you. I'm not gonna, we're gonna go back to the top, we're gonna go to premise effective 877 Garwood.
877 Road?
Yep, you've got the, want to just read on the address, the role, and your recommendation, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I never noticed your tab was.
Oh, thank you. Okay, the subject property is roll number 1202-0842-000. The street address is 877 Garwood Avenue. Do you want me to go over information about the property?
Just read your recommendation and the reason for it.
Okay. So I spoke with the homeowner and he also submitted some photos of the property. There is significant cracking throughout. So I looked at sales of dated homes. They were superior to the subject because there was no mention of any structural issues. I also took a look at some sales of vacant land in the area that I've also included to get an idea of the land value. So taking into consideration the land value, there is some value in the garage that's on the property and a small amount of value in the house. I recommended a value of $150,000, which the homeowner accepted.
Okay, any questions? None? Let's move on to the next one then. Next one will be 728 Warsaw. Oh, there's nobody here for that one. Is this the one that called in?
No,
No?
It's Home Street or something.
Okay.
No, it's Dominion, right?
Yeah. Are we still reading these onto the record? Yeah, I believe we're reading them, so let's read it on.
Sure, I'll look through my evidence. The subject property is rule number 120-224-15000. Street address is 728 Warsaw Avenue. This is a 1.5-story house located in the Earl Grey neighborhood. The year built is 1912 and the effective year built is 1952. The living area is 1,265 square feet. There is a full basement that is not finished. There is one full bathroom. There is no central air conditioning, no fireplace, and no garage. The lot size is 3,060 square feet. The 2020 assessment is $248,000, which is $196.05 per square foot. And the current owners purchased the property in 2017 for $256,000. I have 4 comparables that are all located in the Earl Grey neighborhood. Comparables 1, 3, and 4 are 1.5-story houses, and comparable number 2 is a 1 3/4-story house. All have full basements with no finish. The bathroom count ranges from 1 to 2. Comparables 1, 3, and 4 have central air conditioning. None of the comparable properties have fireplaces. Comparable number 4 has a detached multiple car garage, and comparables 1, 2, and 3 have no garage. The lot size ranges from 2,999 square feet to 3,749 square feet. Comparable number 2 has a commercial adjacent influence.
The sale prices range from $228,000 to $320,000. The time adjusted sale prices range from $233,500 to $326,700. And the time adjusted sale price per square foot ranges from $188.46 to $283.59.
Any questions?
I just have a question. Comp one is only a few doors down, right?
Yes.
And it looks like, I guess this subject property has been obviously upgraded because it's got an effective age of 52 versus 22 yet. So is that what's the driver of the higher per square foot? Because everything else looks pretty much the same?
Yeah.
So they must have done some big rental because the other one's effective age is 22.
Yeah.
And they're the same size lot, probably the same type of house, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a difference in the amount of
Renovations are done, because you've got fixed. Okay, thanks a lot.
Isabella, you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Good comp with the 2017 sale. 520 Dominion.
Now, there's a recommendation for this one,
Mhm.
so should I go through the
No,
comparables or
just
go
do,
over the
just do that
recommendation?
and read it, right?
So the subject property is roll number 1208-1123-000. Street address is 520 Dominion Street. I spoke to the owner on August 14th, and he had indicated that he purchased the property of me in May of 2019. And after he purchased it, he became aware of foundation issues that needed to be fixed. So there was a permit taken out in July of 2019 for structural alterations and foundation repairs that needed to be done. Now, he gave me estimates ranged from about $40,000 plus tax to over $100,000 for the foundation repair, depending on the work that needed to be done. So the original 2020 assessment was $332,000, and I recommended a value of $280,000 to take those issues into consideration, and he accepted this recommendation on August 14th.
Any questions? No questions? Thank you very much. Move on to the next one. This will be 158 Home Street. Oh, is this the one? We're going, this person became ill. We're gonna have a discussion on this one. Why don't we just adjourn this one? You guys okay with adjourning this one?
I am.
I
Yeah,
am.
yeah, she's called in, and the clerks aren't gonna have a problem rescheduling it, so let's get it rescheduled,
Sure.
okay? So this one is being adjourned. And that concludes the matters for today. Thank you very much. We'll shut off the cameras and the speakers, and
Thank you.
Thanks,
we'll
Sarah.
get our stuff done.